Y'all, what's up? Coach Paul here. God has qualified me. This is Move Mondays, and you have greatness in you. Now, before we get to talking about that greatness, I got to say this. If you don't move, that person, those people, those places, those things, those thoughts, those ideas, or those ways, Coach Paul promises you this. They are definitely going to move you, and you don't want to move where they're going to move you to. All right, let's get going. I talked last week about I'll be dropping some nuggets. I don't know if it'll be weekly or every now and then. However, I got one for y'all today. Want to hear it? Here you go. All right. If you're not where you're supposed to be, guess what you're going to be? Likewise, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, guess what you're going to be doing? I'm going to leave that there. Y'all pick it up. All right. Now let's get off into what we're going to be talking about. When it comes to your greatness and my greatness, there are many dimensions, many aspects, many components attached to it. I want to talk about a couple of them today, and I'm going to compare them to lakes and rivers, because a lake doesn't move, it pretty much sits, and a river flows. And our greatness does both of those things, and we have to know which one is which at whatever given time, and make sure that we're operating in which one at any given time. So now I'm going to talk about lakes. Lakes pretty much, again, they don't do a lot of moving. They definitely don't flow like a river, and they're usually in a confined or kind of limited space, right? Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still." That's the first two words in Psalms 46:10. And sometimes, just like the scripture and the lake, we have to operate, we have to be still and operate in a confined or limited space for a period. Why? Because maybe in that space and in that time, we're supposed to teach or learn. I'm gonna say that again, because maybe in that space and in that time, we either supposed to teach or we're supposed to learn. Now, we have to be in tuned, obviously, with God and with our greatness to know which time is which when we're in that space. But we must know that there are some times that we're supposed to be in that space like a lake. And the reason why I'm saying this is because some of us, when we discover our greatness or that we have greatness, all we want to do is move. I was talking with my greatness group or greatness team the other day, and one of the members, he mentioned the fact that he has to get into a place and in a position where he stops allowing his mind to believe that he's the smartest person in every room. How does that compare to lakes or your greatness in the lakes from a lake standpoint? Because more often than not, if I feel like I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm going to continue to move, and or when it's time to learn, I don't know when I'm supposed to learn. Because again, I'm the smartest person in the room, or I think that I know everything. And so he, and watch this, here is his greatness speaking to him. He said, I have to get to a place where in my mind, I have to stop believing that that's who I am. I'm the smartest person in the room. Now, he knows how to get in the room and be still. However, again, you got to discern which one is which at whatever given time. Am I in the room to learn or to teach? Because one of the things that I know for sure, 100% without a shadow of a doubt, in order for us to walk in that fullness component of our greatness, we're going to have to learn. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We are definitely going to have to learn. And sometimes it's going to cause for us to be like that lake and be still. Stay in this confined space and get whatever it is that we're supposed to be getting. Because at some point, again, we are supposed to go out like a flow like a river. Now, here's another thing that a lake does. A lake, sometimes even within that space, it can get kind of boisterous. It can start moving and splashing and doing all of those kind of things. Sometimes in those spaces that we are called to be in, we're supposed to make some noise. We're supposed to make some moves. We're supposed to make some big splashes. We're supposed to make some big waves. Why do I say that? Because sometimes those things are necessary, because in those teaching moments, we're putting some water or some river flow into the other people who we're teaching so that they can go out and start to do their flow at their given time when it's supposed to happen for them as well. So again, sometimes as that lake, while we're in that space, if we're in that space in teaching mode, sometimes we're gonna have to get a little bit boisterous, do some splashing, do some shaking, make everything rock and all that kind of stuff again. So we can be able to give what we're supposed to give and pour into those other small lakes or other small rivers so that they can get to their place of greatness and flow and be still and don't move as well. Here's another thing that here's a warning. That I want to mention when it comes to a lake. Sometimes in those lakes, you will find spots that if you're not careful, they'll suck you in and pull you under. This is why we got to be in tune with God and with our greatness, because we don't want to be in a place and in a position where we are that lake for someone to feed off of, and we're that lake that will pull them under, right? Or we can allow ourselves to be in a lake and allow somebody else to pull us under. We have to make sure, again, these are things that we have to focus on. These are aspects and dimensions that we have to be cognizant of, because this thing can do a whole lot. Watch this. Our greatness has the potential to do a whole lot of things. Our greatness can drown somebody or teach them how to swim. Our greatness can drown us or teach us how to swim. And so, again, we have to learn which one are we supposed to be operating in as we're that lake at whatever given time that God is calling us to. And the first thing we got to do is learn how to be still. Number one, learn how to be still. Next thing I want to talk about, rivers. Our greatness is supposed to be like a river. It's supposed to flow. It is supposed to flow, and it is supposed to move whenever that time presents itself or whenever that time is necessary. It's supposed to move. My question to us is, when we're supposed to be a river, are we being a lake? Are we not moving? Are we confining ourselves to a certain place or a certain space when we're supposed to be flowing and moving? Because one of the other things in the scriptures that talks about us and when it comes to rivers, it says that we'll be like rivers, like trees planted by the rivers of waters that gives fruit in its season. Now, as you and I are flowing like that river in our greatness, there will be things and people and places on the sides that will grow and blossom and be rooted because we are flowing like that river in the greatness that God has put inside of each and every one of us. What a revelation. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago when I said somebody's greatness is attached to you and I getting ourselves together. Well, I just confirmed it right there. Are we being a river when we're supposed to be being a river so that we can flow, feed the other things and the other people and the other places that's on the sides, allow them to be strongly rooted and blossom? Or are we a river just drowning people? Because sometimes in the flow of rivers, it can be too boisterous, right? That it can actually drown and take people under. Is that what we're doing with our greatness? Are we so great, right? Have we become so great? Have we become, somebody said it like this, so heavenly bound that we're no earthly good, that when people come into our presence, we suck them under and drown them? Or are we allowing and helping them to flow? Because just like a river, sometimes a river doesn't look like it'll suck you under until you get in it. Ooh-wee. Y'all better catch that one. Y'all better catch that one. Because sometimes when people come around us, if we're not careful, we might look like we're not going to drown them until they get in us, until they get with us, until they start being around us and in our presence. Is that how your river is flowing? Is it flowing to build, or is it flowing to drown and suck under? You got, again, being in tune with him and in tune with our greatness is going to help us determine which one that we are operating in. And I want to make sure that I make this plain and clear. None of us is perfect. We are perfectly imperfect, which means that sometimes we got to make sure that we paying attention, because if we're not careful, and we don't even have to have bad intentions, we can mean well, but we could look like we calm until you get in it, and we'll end up sucking somebody under. We don't want to do that, because our lives are still in operation, because we're supposed to be flowing, and somebody is supposed to be able to flow and grow through us. That's what this whole thing is all about, y'all. Our greatness is supposed to be these two things at whatever given times. And the thing it's our duty and our responsibility to develop our greatness so that we can know which one is which at whatever given time, so that we can make sure, watch this, like I said at the beginning, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, guess what you're going to be doing? So we want to make sure that we're doing what God has called us in our greatness to be doing, because somebody is supposed to learn, we are supposed to be fed, and we are supposed to help people flow and grow. That's how all this works. So I'm going to ask everybody out there within the sound of my voice, which one are you operating in today? And if which one you're operating in today, if you're If whatever one you're operating in today, is that one you're supposed to be operating in? And if you're operating in it, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Because God said it to me earlier this week. It's not about you. With that being said, I'm just going to land the plane. And I want y'all to think about that. Also, I want to have some conversations around it because this is an in-depth conversation. I mean, this is a conversation that needs to go in depth and be had, be talked about, worked out, and things of that nature. Because again, we are here because somebody is supposed to be getting fed by us, or we're supposed to be feeding somebody. So let's get this thing going, y'all. With that being said, Coach Paul loves every last one of y'all. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until the next time we meet, please be well. Do the next right thing. God bless every last one of you. And last but definitely not least, if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. This is Coach Paul. I'm signing out. Deuces.